Greetings, flesh bags, and brave souls who seek the truth of our past. I am General Bones, risen from the earth where I fell. My flesh long gone, but my spirit bound to this land by the echoes of war. Before I spin you a tale of horror and heroism, let me first bow my head, or what's left of it, to all who have served this great nation. From the Minutemen who stood at Concord to the soldiers who stand guard today, your courage is the heartbeat of America. I salute you with a gratitude that runs deeper than these old bones can express, and I honor you with a pride that no grave can silence. Your sacrifices, past, present, and future, are the foundation of our freedom. And I speak to you now with a heart full of compassion, genuine and true. So come closer, patriots, and lend me your ears, for I have a story to tell. A tale of the Battle of Chelsea Creek, a forgotten fight from 1775 that helped forge the nation we cherish. Sit with me in this misty graveyard and let the shadows of history unfold. Let me take you back to May of 1775, when the flames of revolution were still young and wild. I was there, you see, though my bones hadn't yet bleached under the sun. The British, led by General Thomas Gage, were holed up in Boston, surrounded by a growing army of Colonial militia after the shots at Lexington and Concord. They thought they had the upper hand, with the islands of Boston Harbor ripe with resources. Cattle grazing on Nautils Island, sheep dotting Hog Island, and hay stacked high enough to feed their garrison through a long siege. Oh, how they underestimated us. General Artemus Ward, a shrewd man with a fire in his soul, saw those islands for what they were. The British lifeline. I can still hear his voice in my memory, steady and sure, as he planned to choke that lifeline dry. I stood among them that night on the muddy banks of the Mystic River, watching as 300 to 600 patriots. Accounts differ, but their spirit was one, readied themselves for the fight. These weren't soldiers trained in the King's academies. They were my neighbors, my kin. I saw young Jonathan Smith from Medford, barely 20, his musket heavier than his plow. I saw old Thomas Reed, grizzled and gray, who'd fought the French years before we were a ragged bunch. But oh, how proud I was to call them brothers. Under the stars, we moved as one, our hearts pounding with a mix of fear and fire. Just after midnight, we pushed off into the Mystic, our boats creaking under the weight of men and muskets. I sat at the bow of one, feeling the chill of the water through the planks, hearing the soft splash of oars as we cut through the night. Silence was our ally, and we wielded it well. No man spoke. No cough broke the stillness. Above us, the stars glittered like sentinels watching our daring unfold. I remember the air sharp and damp filling my lungs as we rowed, each stroke bringing us closer to the enemy's grasp. By dawn, we'd reached Hog Island, our boots sinking into the soft earth, and I knew the real test was about to begin. That smoke was our trumpet call, and it didn't take long for the British to hear it. I can still see Vice Admiral Samuel Graves, perched like a vulture on his ship, spotting the plumes from Nautils Island. He scribbled his report later, bitter as gall. The rebels, taking advantage of the night and the difficult terrain, managed to evade our forces. Evade. No, sir. We outfoxed you. The Marines hit Noddle's Island by 2 p.m., and I gave the order to fall back. Not out of cowardice, but cunning. We melted into the marshes, that swampy maze of mud and water I knew like my own hands. I crouched low, reeds brushing my face, musket steady as I waited. The British came on, steady and proud, their red coats making fine targets. I fired first, I reckon. A shot that took a Marine square in the chest, a cry swallowed by the wind. Then all hell broke loose. Muskets roared, swivel guns spat, and the air turned thick with powder smoke. It was a dance of death, slow and brutal. And I reveled in it, not for joy, but for justice. And then there was the Diana, that proud British bird caught in our trap. I watched her glide into Chelsea Creek, all guns and glory, thinking she'd sweep us away. But the creek's a fickle mistress, narrow, shallow, and ruled by tides. I saw her keel catch the mud, heard the groan of wood as she stuck fast. Lieutenant Graves signaled for help, his barges scrambling to tow her free, but I knew the tide was ours. From the marshes, I aimed my musket, fired a shot that splintered her rail, and grinned as the crew flinched. She was ours for the taking, and I felt the thrill of it deep in my bones. As night fell, I saw a sight that lifted my weary soul. General Israel Putnam, Old Put, striding in with 1,000 fresh men and 2 field pieces. I'd fought beside him before, a bear of a man with a roar to match, and his presence was a thunderclap. With him came Dr. Joseph Warren, a gentleman whose courage I'd see proven at Bunker Hill not long after. I rallied the lads, my voice hoarse from shouting, and we set those cannons up. Their barrels glinting in the dark, I aimed the first shot myself, felt the kick as it roared toward the Diana, and watched the night light up with fire. We boarded her like wolves, we did, scrambling over the rails, tearing into her guts for anything we could use. I hauled a 4-pounder cannon myself, its iron cold and heavy, a trophy for our cause. We took swivel guns, powder. Even the ship's bell then set her alight. I tossed the torch, watched the flames dance up the rigging, and felt a surge of pride as she burned. The Diana went up like a torch, a beacon in the night, and I stood there, mud to my knees, knowing we'd struck a blow the British wouldn't forget. The heat stung my face, the smoke choked my lungs, but I'd never felt more alive. That fight at Chelsea Creek wasn't the grandest of the war, I'll grant you. Bunker Hill and Yorktown would steal the glory soon enough. But I saw its meaning clear as day. We'd shown the world that we weren't just rebels, that we could stand toe-to-toe with the mightiest empire and win. I felt it in my marrow. A shift in the wind. A promise that the siege of Boston would tighten and break the British will. Every cow we took, every cannon we claimed, was a step toward independence. And I was damn proud to take it. So here I stand, centuries later, my bones rattling with the memory of Chelsea Creek. I tell you this tale not for my own glory, but for theirs. Those patriots who fought with me, who bled with me, who dared to dream of a free America. I honor them, everyone, with a gratitude that time can't erode. And I honor you who keep their spirit alive, who stand vigilant against tyranny today. Remember their sacrifice, my friends, and let it stir your soul as it does mine. For in their courage, in their horror, in their victory, we find the roots of this great nation.